Welcome to the Femolution podcast. This isn't another finance show about hustling harder, chasing revenue, or glorifying burnout. And it's definitely not another conversation about chasing profit at any cost. This is where we dismantle the systems that told you you had to make more money before you were allowed to protect it. Because at Fem Solutions, we believe in something radically different. Protection comes first, and profit naturally follows. Because real financial power isn't about being rich, it's about being resourced. And on this podcast, we're redefining what financial freedom actually means. And it is not a destination reserved for the wealthy, but it's a daily practice available at any income level when you understand how to manage, protect, and optimize what you already have. We talk about building financial ecosystems, not just profitable businesses, about securing your infrastructure before you scale your income, and creating systems that protect your cash flow, your peace, and your future. You'll hear conversations rooted in FEM's core philosophy: protection first, not profit first, and strong money that supports a soft life, and freedom that's measured by resources, not status. And last but definitely not least, impact that extends beyond your bank account. Because FEM is not here to follow the industry standards. We're here to set a new one. Because we don't just serve clients, we empower change makers. And this podcast is part of that movement. It's part of our empowering process. So if you know your brilliance deserves better support, if you're done building income without infrastructure, and you're ready to stop leaking money, energy, and peace, then you're in the right place. This is the Femolution podcast, where we teach you how to do money the Fem way. Self-care isn't indulgence. It's not a luxury. It isn't performative or something to get back to when the chaos dies down. In FEMFlow, self-care at its core is two things. Number one, essential. Number two, asset protection. Because you, as the founder of your business, are its most valuable asset. If you burn out, the business doesn't just get slower, it collapses. And collapse doesn't always look dramatic, right? Sometimes it just looks like decisions made from exhaustion, urgency, fear, or depletion. One after another, until expansion falls off the table and becomes nearly impossible to create. Self-care doesn't make you comfortable. It makes you capable. Those are two very different things, okay? In FEMFlow, self-care answers one question. Can the founder stay resourced enough to think clearly, decide effectively, and direct the business efficiently? A depleted founder becomes expensive to the business, but a resourced founder becomes expansive for the business. One contracts while the other compounds, okay? That's the real difference. Most founders think that self-care is a luxury, a reward, or a perk, right? Or even something reserved for later. once the inbox is empty, the revenue hits a certain number, or the fire is finally out. But here's the truth. The business never stops asking for more. Rest is not a reward you receive for surviving your business. It's a condition that must become non-negotiable for ensuring your business can survive without you. I'm going to tell you why a founder must be protected, okay? The founder, i.e. you, is the most valuable and the most fragile asset in the business. There is no replacement for your judgment or instinct, okay? Your timing, your strategic thinking, your regulation, your planning capacity, your risk assessment, your conflict resolution, or your direction setting, right? I know that was a lot. But hear this, when those capacities collapse, the business stops being strategic and becomes reactive. Reactive businesses don't scale, they consume. This is why depletion is expensive, okay? And capacity protection is expansive. Let me put it to you like this, okay? I'm going to go to my accountant brain for a quick second. Promise, super quick. Ready? A depleted founder becomes a liability. A resourced founder stays an asset. Do you want to be a cost for your business, or do you want to be a growth lever? You're either going to allow money to go out when it comes to you, or you're going to be the one bringing money in. You get to decide, okay? And here's something else I think we need to address in this particular layer. And I'm sure you know why, right? Because it belongs here. Burnout. Most people think that burnout is a mindset problem, but it's not. It's a metabolic one. Don't worry, I'm going to explain, okay? Listen, when the nervous system is stuck in urgency, every decision costs more. More time, more money, more capacity, more energy, more correction, more cleanup, more regret. Self-care lowers that cost substantially. Okay? Not by pampering, but by reducing how much of the business the founder, you, has to carry in their body. Because when you carry too much, you become fragile, overwhelmed, and eventually you reach a breaking point. But it happens faster when you're carrying too much. Think about it like this. The weight of the world is on your shoulders, and you have no idea how much longer you can hold it. But you know if you let go, that everything is going to fall apart. Who can deal with that pressure 24/7? You would literally crumble if you didn't have any relief from it at all. 24/7, 365, right? No relief. So let me tell you something. The whole point of self-care in FEMFlow is to ensure that you don't reach that point, the point where you collapse so everything else collapses, right? That way your business isn't forced to pay the ultimate price for it. And neither are you, because your business is an extension of you. You cannot self-care your way out of survival or chaos, okay? If survival is unstable or underfunded, right? Because remember, survival are your baseline needs. If that's unstable or underfunded, then your business's foundational capacity disappears. If you can't keep things running smoothly month to month, right? There's no foundation. You can't reasonably build off of that. And then if stability isn't building a cushion to protect the business, if or when something goes wrong, then self-care is simply reduced to another task to fail at. That's why FEMFlow sequencing matters, okay? Survival, stability, self-care, savings. Self-care becomes sustainable once the business stops setting fires that you, as the founder, have to spend energy putting out, okay? I know, that was a lot. I'm not going too deep into this one because I know not to. I know this is the point where most people get very resistant because they think of self-care as a mindset thing, right? It's a luxury. It's something that you get back to. They don't think of it as essential. So I want you to think about it like this because I don't want to overwhelm you, right? So that's why this isn't going to be a super long episode. We'll definitely go into this deeper as time goes on. But for now, I'm doing my best to keep it simple, okay? Because there's way more to this, but I'm giving you the basics, okay? So here's what I want from you, okay? Think about it like this. Self-care isn't about doing less. It's about requiring less of the founder, you, to do the same thing. I know you all know what working smarter, not harder is, right? Self-care isn't about doing less. It's about requiring less of yourself to do the same thing. The highest form of self-care is not rest, okay? It's discernment. It's the ability to think clearly, decide wisely, and plan beyond the crisis in front of you. Knowing when to stop working and take a break is infinitely more valuable and produces greater quality work than you pushing through just to finish something you started. Okay? Because pushing through your limits is hustle culture. Respecting your limits is capacity protection, asset protection, right? And capacity protection is how you build wealth without self-sacrifice. That's what transforms a founder from a cost center into an expansion lever in their business. So I want you to do something over the next week, okay? I want you to notice where your business currently forces you to override yourself. Okay? Don't fix it yet. Just notice. Where does my business force me to override myself? And that's going to look like this. You're working, you're deep in the middle of a project, right? Or production or whatever you're in the middle of for your business. And you notice you're hungry. Your eyes are starting to, hurt a little bit because you've been staring at a screen for too long. Hustle culture would tell you to keep going, finish it up, then you can eat and step away from the screen, right? But what happens when you do that? Your hunger gets louder, your eyes become even more tired, and now you're making mistakes. But if you listen to your body, if you listen to your stomach and your eyes in this example, okay, your stomach is saying, I'm hungry, feed me. Your eyes are saying, I can't keep looking at this right now. I can't see what I need to see. If you ignore that, then guess what? You're going to miss important things because you can't see it right. Okay. So instead of ignoring it, you make a conscious decision to pause what you are doing, get up from the computer, go make yourself something to eat, maybe go walk around for a few minutes, right? Let your eyes get a break from what you're doing. Let your mind take a break from what you're doing. Focus on taking care of you. 15, 20, 30 minutes, right? And then come back. I guarantee you will be way more productive than if you had sat there for that entire 30 minutes. So when you come back and you go back to what you were doing, now you can see it clearly again. Now you can get it done without feeling like you're messing up. Now you can get it done without second guessing yourself and going through a million revisions, right? For whatever it is you're doing. I just use a computer screen because that's the easiest thing for me to talk about, right? Because I work remote and I'm constantly on a computer. So for me, that was the easiest example, but the whole point was to give you one that you could understand easily, right? But again, I just want you to notice where your business is currently forcing you to override yourself, okay? Just notice it, become aware of it, because awareness is the beginning of the redesign in FEMFlow, okay? Now, before we close, okay, for this week, I'm going to leave you with something. A choice, okay? Understand this, because this is why the choice comes in. Self-care in FEMFlow is the threshold layer, okay? It's the point where founders decide what game they are playing, okay? They decide how they're running their business. We'll just put it that way. You can choose to A, stay in that survival stability loop, okay? And there is no shame in that. There's not. It's a real game, okay? It keeps the business alive. Or you can choose to cross the threshold into a future where your body, brain, and bandwidth are protected enough for sovereignty to become possible. Fem doesn't force that choice, but Fem does name it because it is very much a choice, right? Because the founders who are unwilling to protect their capacity will never reach true autonomy. And if you don't reach autonomy, right, you can't reach sovereignty. You're not going to give yourself any options. All right. But the founders who do, their life will never be the same. Their business will never be the same in the best way. Okay. So I'm going to leave you with this. Self-care protects you today. Savings protects your future. Survival and stability are non-negotiable. That's the only way you keep your business alive. Self-care and savings do two things. Self-care forces you to choose. Am I going to stay in survival and stability and not expand? Or am I going to protect me first so that I can expand? And my future can be protected, not just me present day. Okay? Because remember, a protected founder, can expand. And expansion is where sovereignty truly begins. So, self-care is a threshold. You choose. I'm going to stay where I've been, or I'm going to get where I want to be. That's where you choose self-care. This layer right here. Think about it. Okay. And I will see you next week when we talk about savings. Savings in FEMFlow, to be specific, because if you don't know yet, or if you haven't figured it out by now, FEMFlow is far from traditional, right? It is nervous system finance. That's what we're going to call it, because that's what it is. Most people think of money as energy and a tool, right? In FEMFlow, we think of money as how it interacts with your nervous system. It either causes it to become inflamed and there's fires everywhere and you're panicking and you're making urgent decisions, or it becomes a calming factor. If it's inflamed, it's reactive. If it's calm, it's directive. You can direct the money to where it needs to go instead of reacting to the money coming in and the fires that need to be put out with that. Okay? That being said, I will see you next week. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't subscribed to my podcast, then go ahead and subscribe. You can also follow us on YouTube at Femolutionary, right? And Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, we're all over there. All right. So I'll see you on the other side next week.